Let me ask you something. What if your next coworker costs less than a new car? A world where the choice between hiring a person and buying a robot is just a simple, cold calculation on a balance sheet. Well, that world isn't science fiction anymore. It's here, right now. And today, we're going to break down what this new $16,000 coworker really means for all of us. Look, this isn't really a story about amazing new gadgets or futuristic tech. At its core, this is a story about one number, a single number on a spreadsheet that is forcing every CEO out there to make decisions that are going to fundamentally reshape our economy. So let's just get into the cold, hard math of this thing. I want you to remember this date, January 30th, 2026, because this is the moment things got real. This is when the announcement came that Unitree Robotics had already shipped over 5,500 humanoid robots in the previous year. You see, this wasn't some flashy prototype or a vague promise. It was proof that the robot revolution had moved from theory to economic reality. And this is the number that changes absolutely everything. $16,000. That's the real off-the-shelf price for the Unitree G1, a mass-produced, honest-to-God humanoid robot. To put that into perspective for you, it's now cheaper than most new cars, and it costs less than half of what you'd pay a minimum wage worker in the US for just 1 year. I mean, the math is just brutal. A human worker is going to cost a business, $45,000 a year with salary and benefits? And that's every single year. The robot, it's a one-time payment of $16,000. The return on investment for the robot is now less than 6 months. If you're a CEO looking at this spreadsheet, what other choice do you have? Right, capitalism doesn't care about feelings. When the numbers are this clear, the decision is basically already made for you. But wait, it gets even more insane. What if a business doesn't even have the $16,000 up front? Well, the real game changer is something called robots as a service. A recent Macquarie report found that the operating cost can be as low as $3 an hour. 3. Compare that to a human wage of, say, $25 an hour. That's an 8x cost difference. This isn't optional anymore, it's inevitable. Okay, so they're cheap, that's settled. But the big question has always been, can they actually do the job? For decades, the thing protecting human labor was that robots were, clumsy and kind of dumb. Well, that protective moat, it's gone. It is completely evaporated because robots aren't just cheaper anymore. At a lot of tasks, they're actually better. And please, forget the sci-fi demos. This is happening today, right now. Go look at the BMW factory floor, you'll see figure robots working on the assembly line. Go look at an Amazon warehouse, you'll see digit robots moving inventory around. And Tesla is taking the same AI that drives its cars and is using it to teach its robots how to do complex tasks. The theoretical part is over. And if you want the hard data, well, here it is. This chart from ARK Invest lays it all out. In a super standard factory task, picking something up and putting it down, the average human can do about 350 items an hour. The robot? Even back in 2022, it could do over 800. The gap isn't just there, it is enormous. And just so you know it's not me saying it, here's the direct quote from that same report. Robots are already surpassing human performance by greater than a factor of 2. Think about that. And they go on to say that they're not even sure where the ceiling is. So not only are they better, they're getting better, faster, and faster. There was this old idea in AI called Moravec's paradox. It basically said that it's easy for computers to do hard stuff like advanced math, but it's really hard for them to do easy stuff like, just picking up a pencil. Well, we can officially call that one solved.
Thanks to new AI systems that literally learn by watching and copying humans, they can now nail these incredibly complex physical tasks. So let's recap. We have costs that are absolutely collapsing and performance that is soaring. But there's a third piece to this whole puzzle, an engine that guarantees this trend is only going to accelerate. There's a predictable economic law at play here that ensures these robots are just going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And that law is called Wright's law. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It just says that for every time you double the number of things you produce, the cost to make each one falls by a predictable percentage. It's not a guess, it's a pattern we've seen in everything from the Ford Model T to the microchip in your phone. And honestly, you could not ask for a better, more dramatic example of Wright's law than Unitree itself. I mean, look at this. In 2023, their top model was over 150 grand. Just 1 year later, the G1 is 16,000. And now they're saying their next model, the R1, is going to be just under $6,000. That is an absolutely mind-blowing price collapse in just a couple of years. So you might be asking, how is that even possible? It all comes down to this number right here. Over 5,500. That's how many robots Unitree actually shipped to customers in 2025. They are finally hitting production at scale. And scale is the fuel for Wright's law. They've hit that steep part of the cost reduction curve. Of course, a disruption this massive doesn't happen in a bubble. This is quickly turning into a geopolitical battlefield. We're talking about a high-stakes competition between the US and China for who will control the means of production, for literally the future of labor itself. And you can really boil it down to this simple idea. China, as the world's factory, has mastered the hardware. They're leveraging their insane EV supply chain for cheap batteries, cheap motors. They're building the robot's body. The US, on the other hand, has the world's best AI labs like OpenAI and NVIDIA. They're building the brain. It's this classic matchup of brains versus bodies. And you can see it in the strategies of the key players. You've got Tesla in the US. Their play is total vertical integration. They want to control everything, the AI, the batteries, the motors, and aim for a mass market price under $20,000. Then you've got Unitree in China. Their strategy is just pure aggression on price and scale. Get the hardware into as many hands as possible, as quickly as possible. These are two totally different ways of trying to win the future. Which, of course, sets up the multi-trillion-dollar question for the next decade. In a world where the physical robot, the body, becomes a cheap commodity, who actually wins? The company that builds the best body, or the company that builds the smartest brain? So who wins this thing? The company that builds the body or the company that builds the brain? Well, what if I told you the answer might be neither? What if the real money, the real long-term value, isn't in the robot at all, but somewhere else entirely? Okay, so here's the key takeaway. The physical robot itself is fast becoming a commodity. The race to the bottom on price is already happening, as we saw. The real future isn't about selling a robot, it's about selling what the robot can do. The future is a skill store. And look, you don't have to take my word for it. Even Elon Musk has hinted at this exact vision. At a Tesla AI Day, he talked about adding ports and attachments to Optimus. That's platform language. He's talking about building an ecosystem, just like Apple did with the iPhone and the App Store. The hardware becomes the platform for everyone else to build on. Just imagine it. It's basically a software as a service model for physical labor. You don't just buy a robot, you subscribe to skills. You could download a warehouse package handling skill or an assembly line operation module. Unitree is already building this with their AI that learns by imitation. The hardware, you see, it's just the vessel. And the sheer scale of this opportunity is, well, it's almost hard to comprehend. According to ARK Invest's projections, the market for general-purpose robotics could eventually exceed $24 trillion a year. This isn't just a new product. This is a foundational rewiring of the entire global economy. Which leaves us with this final massive question. For the last couple of centuries, we've had two big waves of automation. The Industrial Revolution automated our muscle. The AI revolution started automating our minds.
We are now, for the first time, entering an era where both are being combined to automate that final frontier, dexterous physical work. What does our world even look like when that happens?